Guide.
Oh dear. So this is really just a get together regarding the Myers book series. So as you know from probably the multiple emails that have been sent out from the Belmas office, that we have a book series um, being sort of pulled together. And each of the rigs has been asked to either like as a rig or in line with another rig, been asked to just to see if people were interested in doing their own book. As the inclusive leadership rig, we thought we'd sort of chuck a hat and see what interest there was regarding this, sort of people pulling together various book chapters
Yeah.
and stuff. And so we've come up with the title, which is really just a working title at the moment, of Reimagining Inclusive Leadership, Global Insights for Policy and Practice. So really this is about...
This meeting is being recorded.
Ooh. Sorry, tech issue.
Okay, so this it's really about thinking, just basically just think about people's questions, any thoughts people had, yeah, and that was it, really, wasn't it?
Yes,
So,
we want to pull ideas together.
yeah.
So I guess it'd be good to introduce ourselves if people don't know us yet. There are a few new faces for us.
Yes.
I'm Dr. Beth Holmes, and I work alongside Wendy, who will introduce herself in a moment. And I work in the ITE Initial Teacher Education Department at the University of Derby. And I'm a former SENCO, hence my interest in inclusion leadership. And Wendy and I work alongside each other on a weekly, sometimes daily basis, as well as working on this rig. So that's me.
So my name is Dr. Wendy Conrad. I work at the University of Derby. I work in the Institute of Education Skills as a undergraduate and postgraduate teacher on disability and inclusion. And 20 years as a special educational needs teacher, senior teacher. And I moved to the dark side of academia about 6 years ago. So yeah, stepped outside of the classroom. So
I think it might be good. I'm just frantically typing in the chat as well as multitasking and talking here. I'm going to pop the working title into the chat.
Yeah.
I'm going to I have a book chapter in mind to contribute. So maybe if I have a little talk through about my ideas, and then if people already have an idea, if they'd like to share that and kind of check in, I'll make some notes on contributions. And if not, we can also have a discussion about things that possibly could be relevant to this particular title.
Yeah, this whole thing is very embryonic at the moment.
It is. Embryonic's a good word for it.
Yeah.
I'm just typing
it in. It's really about, just pulling our ideas together. So
there we go.
Yeah.
So, working title, as Wendy has said already, Reimagining Inclusive Leadership, Global Insights for Policy and Practice. So in terms of my research background, when I was doing my EdD, it was during the COVID-19 lockdown period, and I had to frantically change what I was originally going to research into to make sure that I was being sensitive to the kind of educational climate at the time. And my research for my EdD ended up investigating how values manifested in a school during the lockdown period. And through that, and through previous interest and research of mine, I was looking into crisis leadership and leadership styles that kind of worked in that environment. And something that really came out strongly as part of the research was the importance, first of all, of building community, and second of all, about teacher voice and agency, and how when teachers were involved in the decision making about the actions taken at that time, there was a greater sense of well-being. So I have taken that aspect of my research from my EdD, and I'm currently working with the Wisdom Network at the University of Oxford on a project that is looking into the impact of increased teacher voice and agency on well-being. And in terms of inclusive leadership, this is obviously we're talking about inclusion in terms of the people that we are educating, but actually I want to look at this in terms of the educators and how inclusive we are as leaders in terms of our practice. So I will be looking at collaborative leadership styles, how the adoption of those potentially can lead to an increased well-being of staff, and so a greater sense of inclusivity, no matter what your background and experience, feeling part of the decision-making process increases staff well-being, and therefore has a ripple effect onto the people that we're educating, be they children in a school environment or adult learners in HE. So that's what my chapter that I will be putting forward will be concentrating on. So ideas of community, teacher voice and agency, collaborative leadership, and a more inclusive leadership environment. So I hope that's an okay start to putting some ideas forward as to the kind of things that could be included. So has anybody who is on the call got any ideas about some research about a chapter that they could concentrate? If you could do a little show of hands, if possible, if you already have some ideas, that would be really helpful. Okay, not okay. That's absolutely fine. So our next step, and we wanted to call this meeting today to kind of explain what we were doing. Our next step is another hybrid meeting that will take place at the BELMUS conference in July. But we can also, you don't have to attend that to be part of the book series. That's not what we're saying at all. But in terms of a timeline, as we've shared our idea about what we would like this book series to look like, we were thinking, if people are able to come along at the conference, then we can kind of talk through ideas and kind of compare and contrast ideas, collate them. But also in terms of a timeline, we've actually got a few dates in mind.
Yeah, so I mean, we just put out Tuesday, June the 30th, just as like a sort of a date, like a holding date. But obviously the BELMUS conference runs a week after that. So really, I mean, sort of that first week in July would be absolutely fine for any abstracts that people wanted to put forwards.
And we'll put this into the chat.
Yeah. And then we're looking at full chapters to be submitted between October and December 2026. Now, the chapters, they seem to be in discussion with the other reconveners, averaging out between 4,000 and 5,000 words. Inclusive of references. We've also put down the idea of maybe people want to do thought pieces as well.
Yeah, it's quite open as to how you want to present this, and obviously we can give some advice and guidance as ideas come in.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, if the abstracts coming in are not really focusing completely on the title, we will fit the title to look at the abstracts that we've got. It really is just a working title at the moment, but it's really about bringing in those debates around leadership, around innovation, around perspectives, around stakeholders, looking at how all of this can then inform both policy and practice. So it's the chapters, 4,000 to 5,000 words, inclusive references, thought pieces, 1,000 to 1,500 words, inclusive references. That connection between research and practice is always a positive one. And also, it doesn't have to be self-authored as well. So if you're working with young, like emerging scholars, for example, undergraduates, those that are going into teaching, if you want to maybe do something with those, for those of you in the space that are perhaps more experienced, and work with your students, then that would be absolutely amazing.
Yes.
as well.
I'm just popping those word limits in to the chat.
Does anybody have any questions so far about this?
Not really.
No?
No. Not really.
Is that a good sign? I hope that's a good sign.
Go on, Stephen, any thoughts?
Yeah, that was actually, it was clear to me. As you know, I'm quite concerned to look at, certainly as a piece, in terms of the white paper and the work with TAs in schools, because obviously I did a book on this with Pam Dunkley. But things have really moved on, and of course the white paper, for example, is actually saying that TAs will have their own external group who organise the pay and also training. Now, whether that's going to happen or whether it's not, we're not sure, particularly now. But the the legislation is supposed to come this year. So therefore, that's going to happen. Also, my work, as Beth knows, that it's fairly not similar, but my concern has always been with teamwork, and particularly in terms of teachers and TAs, because of the problems with pay, and particularly CPD. They have very little, and so there's that, and we're hoping that the white paper will do so. Now, I totally agree that we look at the global situation, but because I've been directly involved with this, my view would be we need to be very, very clear our views on inclusion and the white paper, because at the end of the day, I'm asked to go into check with schools and stuff right on this matter, and we have in England and Wales particularly, it's a real crisis at the moment. People are leaving, TAs are leaving, schools don't know what to do. There's no question about it. So I'm looking at that really.
I think, Stephen, it's that would be a great contribution particularly in terms of leadership and kind of what to do about that situation and recommendations there. And you're absolutely right. We do want this as a global perspective, but it is also to look at your local perspective and what's happening in your country as well. So absolutely, that would be relevant in terms of a chapter contribution. So thank you. Has anyone else got any questions to ask or any thoughts they'd like to share in terms of ideas for contribution?
Can I just ask, hi Wendy, hi Beth.
Hi.
Just a quick one, for your abstract format, how many words are you looking for that?
Usually 300 to 500.
Okay, very good. And just a second thing. I've written journal articles before. I've never written a book chapter. And I'm just wondering, have you any guidance on writing a book chapter, or like how it compares to articles, journal articles?
I don't know whether I guess we're thinking about tone here as well, aren't we?
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm mostly asking about,
so
is the tone.
It doesn't have to be quite as formal in terms of tone. Obviously, it's still with kind of research rigor and all those kind of good ethics and whatnot in terms of research.
I'm guessing the people we're really sort of focusing on are those going into leadership. I think those are the type of people that be looking at this book.
Okay.
And really sort of focusing on those that are maybe like emerging leaders.
Okay.
Yeah. So because we're open this up to kind of reflective pieces as well, I think it also, and this is me sitting on the fence, apologies, Barry, it also depends on the research that you're doing.
Yeah.
Because a reflective piece is much more kind of opinion driven in terms of the content, obviously using literature review and evidence from your practice and your experience as well. I think we're quite open to again, depending on your research, how you want to present it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be as formal, but if it is about specific research you're doing, we would expect literature review. We would expect an explanation of your methodology and how you were doing
Sure.
so, what and how.
I mean, we said 4,000 to 5,000 words per chapter. That's just like a guidance, because obviously we don't want somebody submitting 12,000 and then somebody, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's got to be kind of manageable. But if it goes slightly over that, so there's not an awful lot of wiggle room when it comes to, this is just the guidance that we got when the RIG conveners met, 4,000 to 5,000 words inclusive references. So it's really, quite a focused piece.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Yeah.
I realised we didn't give you a
didn't
precise answer there. It is depending on the research that you are submitting.
We gave you a politician answer.
I appreciate that. But I think what we can do, because this is something that other RIGs are also doing.
Yeah.
I think if we check in, and we need to talk to the people at Myers who are organising this as well. So, although I've sat on the fence a little bit in terms of, it depends the style that you're writing in, whether it's reflective or more of a kind of research-driven piece. I think we can check in and find some examples. I think that is what we shall do, Wendy.
Okay.
We shall find some examples.
We can do that. Yes.
Let me write that down as an action point.
I'll do it.
Okay. Thank you. She's on it.
I'm on it.
So, Barry, we'll be back in touch to confirm that. It's okay. It's okay.
I mean, we don't really want kind of 12 chapters that are all cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Like, all exactly the same. It's just, that would not be inclusive. So it's really, we'll find some examples and see. Yeah.
Because it's also about the tone that this particular publisher wants as well. So I think that's important for us to check in on. Okay. Thank you, Barry. And I'm really pleased you asked that question. That's good. I think it's important information for us to confirm and clarify.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hassan, you also have your hand up.
Yeah.
Hello. Nice to see you today.
Hi.
My pleasure. Well, I have, similar question. I have an idea that is like about inclusive and leadership. I was doing a research about how school leaders are supporting teachers or supporting special education students. How like there is basically my research is around there is a gap, teachers are not really occupied, they are not really sure how to facilitate students with special education needs. And my idea was what leadership support they provide or facilitate, how do they facilitate teachers to be able to serve. However, I don't have data yet, and I'm looking at the deadlines you have set. And since it is a book chapter, I was thinking, would it be acceptable to go on a theoretical basis?
Yes, absolutely. That would sort of feed into the sort of more reflective. Yes.
Yeah,
and asking and posing questions for leaders. That's not a problem at all.
I mean, we're the best one in the world. There are tight deadlines, and we apologise for that, but that's just the nature of trying to figure out lots of different rigs and pulling stuff together. So.
Well, I might approach that through looking at policies, comparative policies across.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because I'm actually now in the UK doing my PhD, and I was in Bahrain, Middle East. So I'm just thinking of making comparative, looking at the policies that empower leaders to support such students.
Yeah, I think that would work really nicely.
Yeah.
Thank you. And as we were saying, the global aspect of this is important to us. And so if you're making comparisons across countries, then I think that would be really, really good.
And I would be glad if someone is interested to join that.
Of course, yeah.
Yes.
Well, we could always, again, sort of put something out on our RIG page as well. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Hassan. Barry, I was just thinking while I was talking to Hassan there, you asked a great question that we're going to follow up on, but also, have you got in mind a topic that you would like to explore with this book chapter?
Yeah, so I think just to kind of give you a bit of background about myself, just to kind of see why I'm thinking about this. Like I was a principal myself for 6 years, and I've only recently, a year and a half ago, when I finished my doctorate, I joined DCU here in Dublin, as assistant professor in inclusive and special education. So I was hoping on doing something on looking at leadership for inclusion from a practitioner's perspective, but looking backwards, what it is, what it should be, kind of the enablers for it.
Okay,
Perfect. Yes.
so that sounds like it is a little bit like what Hassan was saying. It's more a kind of theoretical, reflexive piece that you're looking at there.
Yeah, it's just definitely, and looking kind of specifically at like what the enablers were.
Yeah.
But I suppose what I'm kind of why I asked the question I asked is, I suppose I'm used to kind of more writing from gathering evidence, data
Yeah.
gathering, linking it to the literature. Whereas yeah, I'll definitely be drawing on some of my research for this as well, but I'll also be bringing in kind of my practice experience, and
Yes.
I suppose kind of it's like what I'm trying to do is marry both of those things together in a way that's rigorous,
Yes.
That's perfect. Yeah.
I think that will work
Yeah.
really well. And I
Yeah.
realize what you're saying. It's kind of it's a new way of writing, different way of writing. And that's where underpinning what you're saying with literature is really key.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. And it sounds like you've already got kind of a theoretical underpinning for it. And particularly if it's based on your doctoral research, hopefully some of those are quite easy to, like, close to hand for you to get. So I think what I can do is, if we look at a few of the management in education reflective pieces, although they're not doing them anymore, that is quite, and they're about the same. They're about the same length, actually.
They
is what
are.
we're asking for.
Yes.
So I'm actually answering the question now that you asked me in the first place, because I've thought about it.
Yeah.
If we look at some examples for management in education, and if you can, through BELMAS, access that as a kind of a source for you, their reflective pieces might be quite a nice model for you to use for what you want to write.
Sure. Great. Thanks, Beth.
It's all right.
Yeah, I keep forgetting we've got access to that.
We have access to that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, has anyone else got any questions? No? Okay.
So I'm not sure whether Cynthia sent out the JOT form.
No, so I think that's the next action point from the BELMAS office, is they are sending out a form to collate people who are interested in working with us on this. So please look out for that in your emails. If you are happy to share your email address with us, I think we had a long conversation about sharing information. And whether we can have access to your data. Hang on. What have you found?
On the email that was sent out, at the very bottom, I think there's a link to the form.
Oh, there we go.
The JOT form.
Yeah. So
just check out you should have had an email.
So we don't have to take email addresses.
Yeah, you should have had an email about sent from the BELMAS office. Okay. We haven't sent the form yet. Cynthia's on annual leave. Okay, so, but the JOT form, I think, Kelly, there was a link to the JOT form via the email that I sent out, or Cynthia sent out. If somebody could maybe just check, that'd be amazing. At the very bottom.
Do you mean the email that we got yesterday?
Yes, Kelly's just putting this in the chat. So this is coming up now.
We have a link ready. So the link's going to go into the chat for this one.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
because we're not allowed to hold the contact detail information, which is why it's been slightly disjointed in terms of us being able to contact you. But actually, this will mean that you can put your ideas straight into the form, and that will come to us.
Yes. Which will make life a lot easier.
Yes, it will.
I do think it was on my email, but I can't at the moment have a look. Just see.
Oh, there we go. Wonderful. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank
so
you,
in
Kelly.
the chat, we have the jot form.
So that's the link for the jot form there.
So if you could put your ideas down and into that will help us to collate.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is a starting point, having this conversation, but the jot form is kind of the central point for information at the moment in terms of the content for us. There will be...
And then what we'll do is also we'll send this out on an email.
Yes.
Again.
Yes.
Via the Belmas office.
Yeah.
And we can put the link onto LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that okay, Kelly? Yeah. If we sort of do the email again and send out to everybody from the Inclusive Leadership rig, and then we can do the link, put the link onto LinkedIn.
Yes.
Perfect.
So this is all very exciting. Thank you for bringing your ideas to the virtual table. It's really appreciated. This is something that we are moving forward on. Wendy and I are finding our way, because this is the first time that we've worked with this publisher and we've worked through Belmas in this way.
Yeah.
So thank you for your patience with some of the things that we're going to sort of take away and find out a bit more information about.
I mean, if you have any questions, please just email. It's absolutely fine, but we may not know the answers, so you may have to sort of wait for a few days, before we can get the answers.
I'm just popping in our email addresses so you can email us directly. Those are our email addresses, so they'll come through. And if you put both of us in, it means one of us will definitely pick it up.
Yeah. Okay. So if you've got any questions or want to run anything by us,
there will also be a confirmation of time for the next RIG event, which will be at the Belmas conference, but you can come to it virtually. That's no problem.
There's a RIG event this Friday.
Oh,
yes, Donny.
Yes.
So there's a RIG event this Friday, Friday afternoon.
It's not connected to the book, though. This is just been a bit of a promo plug. That's all it is.
Okay. But Sandra, if you want to send us any information, and then we can, if you want somebody to join you with your book chapter, we can put it onto the RIG page on LinkedIn.
Sure, I will.
Yeah, so if you just email us. Okay.
So, a little bit of roundup of our actions.
Any specific information you need, or
just this is what you would what you're looking at doing. You're looking at maybe somebody to come in with you on that.
Sort of a little bit about your I guess a little bit about your background, a little bit about your research interest, and what you're proposing. That would be fabulous.
Sure.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah.
So in terms of what we're going to do, we'll make sure that the information comes out again with the jot form link, but you also have it in the chat. We're going to look for some examples on reflective pieces, and we'll be able to.
But as Beth said, that if you go onto the Belmas website, you've got access there to the
management and education. And we will also check in with the publisher contacts just to check in about tone and if there's anything in particular that they would like in terms of how they want this written, and we'll share that as well. We've got our timeline. We're looking for abstracts for that first week in July. And yes, please keep in touch. We're really excited that you've come along and said that you'll be involved. That's absolutely wonderful. And thank you for bearing with us as we move through this together.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
We got Sabah.
Yes. Oh, yes. Hi, Sabah. Have you got anything that you would like to add? No.
No.
Okay. Well, in that case,
Yeah.
shall we let you get on with your Monday morning, everybody? Thank you for coming along at such a for first thing on Monday morning.
Yes.
That's pretty impressive.
Yes.
And we shall be in touch with the information that we will be sharing with you.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, as Wendy has said already, please get in touch.
email. Yeah.
And we're really excited to be working with you.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.